All right, guys, it's saying I am live. It's only my second time trying to do one of these live feeds. Just figured I would jump on this morning, do a live stream, fill you guys in on a couple things going on this weekend, and if you guys catch into this thing live and have any questions, shoot them down below. I'll certainly do my best to answer. But I did a video a couple of days ago, I think it was 3-4 days ago, saying that I was planning on going down to New Jersey actually tomorrow to do a road race down there called the Jersey Devil. I've actually decided not to do that, so I'm not going to go down and race this weekend. Main reason for that is because I actually was just recently granted my Category 2 upgrade for USA Cycling. So, therefore I don't really need to be, trying to get, USAC points anymore. Now, at some point I am going to be I would like to upgrade to Category 1 at some point, but it's going to take a couple of years to do that probably, because when you make the jump up to Category 2, the racing is just a lot harder. Obviously, you're going against, some different competition. So I'm not really actively, seeking a lot of points. I've made it to Cat 2. I'll pretty much be able to always enter. Most of the time I'll be able to enter the pro here. Here in the U.S., the way they do the racing, at least in the Northeast region here, is most of the races will have what they call a Pro 1-2 field. So basically, as long as you're a Cat 2, you can pretty much enter the elite race of the day, whatever race you're at. So now some races like Green Mountain Stage Race does break it down actually into 1s and 2s separately, but that's just because it's a very big stage race in our region. It's like the most popular stage race in our region. It's like the only race I'm really aware of where they kind of break the 1s and 2s separately. So I'm not going to go down to New Jersey this weekend and race simply because, A, like I said, I don't need the points, and B, last year I actually did a race in August. It was mid-August, the Tour de Loop, and that's the race where I actually crashed in a very high-speed field sprint and smashed my Pinarello Dogma frame, which is still damaged. I really haven't even looked into getting that fixed yet, guys. I'm gonna at some point, but let's face it, I don't need the bike right now. I've got plenty. I got several bikes to ride. So within the next couple of years, I'll probably be getting down to South Carolina, and when I get down there, I'm gonna look into having the Dogma repaired. But I have not done that yet. So I got to thinking. I was like, since I just signed up for Green Mountain Stage Race, I think it was a couple of days ago, and that's like an expensive race to enter, like $340 just to register for the race. So it's like at this point in the season, I've already had a really good season. I won, the Whiteface Mountain uphill bike race. I won Bristol Mountain, got my Category 2 upgrade. It's like, at this point, I don't really want to risk, crashing in some smaller race again and, jeopardizing, my start at the Green Mountain Stage Race. So I figured, what, at this point, I've only got a month till Green Mountain. I'm going to just train up until Green Mountain and not really worry about, doing any other racing. Because I don't really have any need to. It would be more or less just doing it just to do it kind of thing. And like I said, I would, at this point in the game, I would actually rather just kind of focus on my own individual training here locally. Today it's Saturday morning. Not really sure what I'm going to do yet today as far as a training ride. Yesterday I rode for a couple hours. Did a little bit of intensity, but very short duration type stuff. Like I was only doing anywhere from 20 seconds to a minute long efforts. So it wasn't really taxing my aerobic system. So So I'm not sure what I'm going to do today. I would like to actually maybe take a trip down to the High Peaks area. Just ride down there. It's always a pleasure riding, down in the Lake Placid region. Obviously the climbs are, a little bit bigger down there, and there's usually people out riding. So, trying to think of any other updates I wanted to give you. Actually, there is. Yesterday, let me just grab it real quick. Yesterday, I actually got in the mail. I actually got my state championship jersey for New York. This is my state championship jersey for winning the road race this year at Bristol Mountain. So that was pretty cool. I'll probably wear this on today's ride. It's actually from a company called Voller. See, Voller made this. It's actually the same brand as our team jerseys, our Team Classic Planet team jersey. So I knew that the jersey was gonna, fit me very well. I got a small, and I put it on last night just to see, and it fits me perfectly. I knew it would because, like I said, it's the same company that our team jerseys are from. So that was pretty cool. Not really seeing anybody jumping in here on the live chat. Like I said, if anybody has any questions, drop them down below. I'll do my best to answer. Figured I would just try doing a quick little live broadcast here. Since some of you guys have been asking me some questions here on my videos after they post, I just thought maybe I would do a quick little live segment, see if I could catch anybody on YouTube this morning, and maybe we could just have a little discussion back and forth with anything that you guys are thinking about. So, as far as actually my vacation, I'm still on my vacation. I was off all last week from work, which was nice. I pretty much got the train. We had perfect weather here all week. In fact, it's beautiful again today. It's supposed to be like in the upper 70s, no rain in the forecast. So I'm hoping to get 4 or 5 hours in later on today. You guys have to excuse my living room here. As you can see, it's mostly bike and treadmill type stuff. Not your typical living room, I'm sure, but I'm a single guy and I like to ride bikes, so therefore, my living room is full of bikes and treadmills. This is actually, you guys can see this right here. This is actually right there. It's my Nordic Track 11. Forget the model name now. I think it's the 11XI or something like that. I don't use it a ton right now because I pretty much ride. And as you guys can see, my e-motion rollers and my mountain bike are pretty much here year round. They never leave the living room. The TV's literally right here in front of the bike. So pretty much leave my mountain bike and my rollers in my living room 100% year round. This way here, if I get home from work real late, some night, like a lot of times I don't get home from work until like 9 p.m., left at 9 p.m. I'll just come home real quick. Literally by 9:30, I can be, on the bike, on Zwift, doing, a training ride. Plus, let's face it, it's already August. Within, I hate to say it, but within like 3 months here in New York, I'm going to be pretty much forced to getting back into mostly roller riding. That's another thing I've gotten some questions on before was, why I ride the roller so much. And, guys, I don't know if you guys have not tried the e-motion rollers from Inside Ride. I'll tell you what, I highly recommend you guys trying them out. I don't know if you could very few shops, have them. I haven't been to a shop anywhere around me that's had them. So I think you would probably, if you really wanted to ride them, you'd probably have to just make the investment and get the rollers and just go with it. All I can say is they're hands down the best inside training mechanism I've ever used. I do have a Wahoo kicker, which is actually sitting over here on my left hand side. I think you can just see the flywheel right about there actually. I really don't ride my kicker much anymore, honestly. Last winter, I actually hooked it up a few times just to see, for something different, so to speak. It's just not the same. I like riding the rollers, and I usually ride my mountain bike on the rollers. And the reason why I do that is what I found was, because I try to do some high power, work on my rollers, and I'll actually ride a lot out of the saddle. Like when I'm Zwift racing, when I'm racing on Zwift, I will literally stand up out of the saddle, 95% of the races. It's just, simply because that's just where I can produce the most power is standing up. So I will stand up a lot on my rollers. And what the issue I was having was on the road bike, on the rollers, because I was pedaling with such force, I was actually slipping the rear tire on the drums. It was actually slipping the rear tire, and it was actually causing the belt on the E-motion rollers. There's a belt mechanism that controls the magnetic resistance. And what was happening was the road tire just wasn't giving enough traction on the drums, and it would slip. And every time it would slip, it would make that belt. Of course, at this point, I'm riding, pretty hard, and these rear drums were slipping, and it would cause the belt to just basically start fraying. Basically it would basically ruin the belt on the E-motion rollers. And with this design here, my only critique of the E-motion rollers, and it's a minor one because it doesn't happen very often, but when the belt, obviously it's a belt, it's just a little belt like you'd have in your car, under the engine. And sooner or later, every belt is gonna have an issue, and it's gonna wear out and need to be replaced. The only downfall with these rollers is that when you have to replace the belt, you pretty much have got to totally disassemble the rollers and take the whole frame apart in the whole 9 yards to change the belt. It's the only negative thing about the rollers I can think of is it is a little bit of a pain, to change the belt. But I've only got to change the belt. I ride these as much as anybody can. I would argue that I ride the rollers and ride indoors as much as anybody does, and I maybe have to change the belt twice a calendar year. So it's really not that big of an issue. But so I ride the mountain bike now, and obviously with the mountain bike tires on the rollers, it doesn't slip. I can pretty much sprint at maximum capacity on the rollers, and with the mountain bike tires, don't have the slipping issues. So that's why I've been riding my mountain bike on the rollers. It's just it just works better, and let's face it, all winter long when I'm in here training, I'm not really worried about having the road bike feel so much. It's just, all winter it's just about putting out power and doing the base training. And power is power, whether you're on a mountain bike or a road bike. It's the same. So I don't really worry about having the specificity of riding a road bike on the rollers. And I like the rollers, or I like the mountain bike on them simply because it doesn't slip on the rear drums. Now it is noisy. The mountain bike tires are obviously very noisy on the rollers, and I still haven't found a solution for that. I guess you could probably mount some slicks on here, but then I think you'd probably run into the slipping issues again. So obviously the grip, because of the grippy, knobby tires, that's why it's not slipping on the drum. So it is a little bit noisy, but I just deal with that. I just basically turn up my TV to full blast and play my music and stuff. So yeah, I've pretty much always got my indoor training, set up, ready to roll in case like this time of year, in case we get a rain day or something, I can just jump on the rollers real quick. Now I will use my P1s on here to communicate with Zwift. Got my Cervelo in here. I got to clean it up. I'm gonna take the Cervelo out today on my ride. I just brought it in the living room here to air up the tires and just give it a quick wipe down, lube the chain, stuff like that. So yeah, all right, guys. Well, nobody's chimed in yet with a question. just trying to see and just trying to think if I have any other updates I wanted to give you guys. Like I said, I'm not going to race this weekend, simply because, like I said, I just got my Category 2 upgrade, and so I don't really need the points. And like I said, I really don't want to risk crashing at this point because I'm doing Green Mountain Labor Day weekend, which is at this point less than a month away. And last year in August, I actually crashed at the Tour de Loop road race, which was another road race that I did. And again, it was more or less just like a training race type deal. And I was trying to get some upgrade points. That's the race I ended up crashing at, smashing my bike, and broke my ankle. And let's face it, I probably should have not raced last year at Green Mountain because I basically did that race on a broken ankle. But I just was not going to miss Green. I just wasn't going to miss Green Mountain unless I physically could not get to the starting line. And I figured I could race. I'm glad I didn't crash. If I would have crashed at Green Mountain, it would not have been pretty. And that was always in the back of my mind the whole race is, man, if I crash right now, it's not going to be pretty. Fortunately, that wasn't the case, and I got through it. But I just figured I don't want to risk crashing this late in the game before Green Mountain. So I'm not going to race this weekend. Like I told you guys in a video a few days ago, I was thinking about going down, doing the Jersey Devil road race. Have decided to pass on that because I don't want to crash before Green Mountain. So, unless anybody has any questions, I'm probably going to shut the live stream down here real quick. What I'll do next time is, before I do a live stream, and I've seen it on a couple of channels I follow, is I think there's a way you can do like you can basically put out an announcement that you're going to do a live stream at whatever time. I'll probably do that in the future, give you guys a couple hours heads up, a few hours of heads up before I come on here and do the live stream. Because I know it's a lot of times it's difficult to interact with with people that follow the channel, especially when you just kind of do a spur of the moment live stream. And when my channel is not that big as far as a following base, so it's gonna be hard to just catch you guys randomly on here. So can't really think of any other updates I wanted to give you guys, unless I get a question here in like the next minute or two. I'm probably going to end the stream. So, all right, guys, I don't want to bore you with anything. I'm just getting caught up, just basically doing my breakfast. This is my coffee, basically. I like Monster Energy. Usually drink this in the morning. Have this, and I'll probably have 8-10 slices of toast for breakfast. And that's another thing. Like, I know I did a video just a few days ago about diet, and when people hear that, like, I'll eat a loaf of bread a day, they're like, why would you possibly do that? Like, the first thing everybody always says is, bread makes you fat, and it's like, really? Like, no, it doesn't. It's starch. Starch does not make you fat. Like I said in the video, if bread and starch made you fat, I should be literally 400 pounds because I probably eat more bread than anybody I know by a long shot. Yet, I'm a quite lean person. So the whole starch, bread, potatoes, rice makes you fat, guys. That's total, complete scientific nonsense. That's nothing more than propaganda, by today's industry to make you think that. But it's certainly not the case. And I would argue that that's what gives me the ability and the fuel necessary to ride the mileage and to do what I do on the bike. So that's why I do eat the starch. It's simply the energy I need to ride my bikes every day and to do big mileage. So. All right, guys. Well, if you've made it this far in the video, I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Again, next time I'll do like a heads up type thing. Like I said, I think there's a way I can give you guys like a heads up that there's a video coming, a live stream. Maybe I'll try doing that next time. Since I haven't got any questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream. Again, thanks, guys, for tuning into the channel. Appreciate the support. Remember, guys, don't ever let anything or anybody get in the way of getting in your miles. See you next time.